Obi Wan has a freaking brother.
Is it me? Is it me?
You are my brother, Anakin, but I have another brother. That was actually really good.
Thanks. 99ers. That's the new theme. Hello, folks. We are back. If you are listening on Spotify, Apple Play, Apple Podcasts, please leave a review for us. If you have seen any of our content before and you thought, wow, those two gentlemen are stand-up folks, I would like for you to give us a 5-star review. I was going to say rating while I was saying review. And that's what happened. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. Again, if you have seen any of our content, we try to be as funny as we can. That's what we're really trying to do.
But that's the thing. We're not even trying.
Wow.
We're just talking.
So if you think that we have made a funny joke in the past, perhaps, hit that like button. Comment your favorite time.
Smash it.
Big smash. Comment something. It doesn't matter. Just do it. Please. Just love you guys.
Don't mention my girlfriend ever again.
Yeah, David was tore up about that. Anyway, thank you guys for listening, watching, subscribing. If you haven't yet, do it. All the kids are doing it. Here we are, episode 7. Is it?
I don't know. I know that's why you were like, episode. You looked at me like, which one is this? It's
episode 7.
We're
on 7, and I already can't keep track. Doesn't bode well for when we get to 7,000.
So last week we talked about Kenobi dropping episode 1 and 2.
That's what they did. That was fun. But this was even funner.
Because episode 3 is out.
We watched it.
And we're here to discuss.
Talking.
General thoughts. What did you rate the episode?
You're going to be mad. I give it an 8.2 out of 10.
8.2?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Dude, I was so excited. So when I watched it, I immediately called you.
He had a brain aneurysm.
No, I didn't. So I immediately called Austin, was like, dude, what did you think? And this homie goes, I can't tell you. I'll tell you on the podcast. So I've been dying to ask him.
Here's the problem. Me and David, again, we started this because we have this dialogue already. We're already talking about this stuff every day, so we might as well stick some cameras in front of us with a nice microphone, get Sean Tacular involved, and just hash it out for the interwebs to find. And the problem is we talk about this behind closed doors, off the mic, and we say so much stuff, and then we forget to say that same stuff when we actually get behind the mic. So I said, screw you, dude. I'm not telling you a dang thing. I'll tell you when we sit down. So here we are. Let's do it. Episode 3. Go.
Boom. So you rated it an 8.2.
8.2. What do you give it?
Man. So when I first watched it, first viewing, I was like, everybody I know, listen. That was a 9.5 out of 10. But after watching it a second time, I have my gripes. There's some things I didn't like.
He's a griper.
I would give it I gave 1 and 2 an 8 out of 10. I have to give this one an 8.8 out of 10.
Yeah.
So we meet at 8.5.
You did the math. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. So first 1 and 2, we rated 7.5 PG out of 10.
Sean gave it a PG.
This one we're giving an 8.5. So headed in the right direction, which I'm excited. I can honestly say episode 3, we're halfway through, and I am happy with it. Crazy. I was not like this with Boba Fett.
That's true.
With Boba Fett, I was like, maybe the next episode I'll like.
Right.
And then I didn't, but that'll be a story for another day.
I will say, it is improving.
Maz says.
Yeah, it is improving, and I do like the direction they're headed. There were a couple things about this episode that, like, it just didn't pack the punch I was hoping for.
Shut your mouth. This was a great episode.
It punched me for sure, but it punched me, like, in the upper thorax, and I was hoping for, like, a strong Adam's apple punch. Really take me out. Send me to the hospital.
Choke me.
Harder, Daddy.
there's any kids watching. Ooh, I just
We've never
mic.
had to mark our videos as explicit.
Yeah,
never will. This is a family channel.
You kidding me? I get my girlfriend on here and she's beep beep beep.
Yeah, she's a sailor.
Left and right.
So how does episode 3 start, David Schaefer?
So episode 3, we got Kenobi and Leia. Kenobi's sitting there thinking about how Anakin's alive.
Just thinking about it.
He is beat up.
Doesn't he cry out to Qui-Gon?
He says, Master Qui-Gon, give me strength. And he's nowhere to be found. But honestly,
No Liam
I see
Neeson.
this as the same thing with Rey in episode 9, where she's like, be with me.
Be with me. They're not with me.
All the Jedi, be with me. Oh. I don't hear them. I don't see them. And then when she's in dire need at the end, when he's like, I am all the Sith, and she's like,
I'm all the Jedi.
and I am all the Jedi.
And I am Iron Man.
Oh
wait, no, that was the other Disney
moment.
series.
Yeah. I think when he's in dire need and like at his weakest moment where he literally might die, and I'll bring this back up later, but I think that's when Qui-Gon's gonna come back, and as a Force ghost to talk to him.
No Qui-Gon.
Because look
yet.
at Luke. When did Obi Wan appear to him?
Luke.
Ben?
Hoth.
When he's dying.
When he got whomped.
by the Wampa.
Womp mode. Yeah, we'll see what happens. No Qui-Gon yet. Still seems as though Obi Wan is totally disconnected from the Force. He had his moment with Leia in episode 2, but episode 3, he just seems helpless. So let's break it down. How does this story progress?
So he takes Leia to another planet. I don't remember the name of it. But this is where he's supposed to meet someone,
Right.
to send her back to
fake
Alderaan.
Jedi buddy sent him and said, this person will be waiting for you. They'll help you. They'll take you the rest of the way.
So Leia is being Leia and asking him stupid questions the whole time. And
I like Leia.
I do like Leia. She's growing on me.
I think her character improved a lot in this episode.
I think so,
she's
too.
less annoying, and there's a couple moments between her and Obi-Wan that are like really well done and sweet. And he talks about like Padme.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the sequence where they are on this transport with stormtroopers, and they're pretending to be farmers from another planet, from Toth. And is it Toth? Tall. Dang it, Sean, with the corrections.
TAWL. Tall.
That's where I should have taken notes, and I didn't. So they're pretending that they're father and daughter. They're from Tall. They're farmers, and we're just happen to be on this planet because her mother passed away, and we've got family here, and her family's here, and I wanted to bring her back. And
Yeah, that's what they tell.
it's just been really hard on all of us. That's their story. That's their cover story.
Right.
'Cause
And we saw
he looks like a Jedi. He's freaking wearing a Jedi robe.
Right. We saw a sprinkle of this in the episode before, where he's looking at Leia, and he says like, "Gosh, you remind me of someone I used to know."
Right. Hashtag.
And she's like,
Padme.
"Oh, were they a Jedi?" And he's like, "No, but she was a senator, a great senator." He's talking about Padme.
Yuppers.
He's saying he sees a lot of Padme in her. So we get that sprinkle at the end of episode 2. And then, yeah, in episode 3, Leia and Obi-Wan are walking through the desert, and the person they're meeting doesn't show up.
But before that,
We see a glimpse, a mirage.
ooh,
Obi-Wan sees a Jedi in a cloak in the desert.
hooded figure.
Hooded figure turns, and
Who'd
it's
it
none
be?
other than
Jonathan
Anakin.
Stamos.
Anakin.
Stamos. Yeah. It's this brief like, huh? And he looks back and he's gone. Was it a mirage?
Yeah,
Yeah. Because
obviously. Yeah, Anakin's not.
Yeah, it's not
Anakin's
Anakin.
Vader. But so yeah, as they're walking through the desert, this transport goes by, and Leia's like, "Oh, I'm sick of walking. I want to ride." So she walks up, and Obi-Wan's like, "Stop it! You can't trust people. Like, what are you doing?"
Right.
And she's like, "No, it's fine." So we get introduced to Freck. Freck is played by the guy from Scrubs, Zach Braff.
Yes.
But honestly, just right off the get with Freck, I like him. He reminds me of every bus driver I've ever had. He just has that warm, cuddly vibe.
Well, what are you guys doing out here?
Honestly, if it wasn't Zach Braff, I would have hoped for John Goodman. Just like, I want Pacha, you know? I want Sully.
Yeah.
Opening that door to the bus.
Speaking of Pacha, Emperor's New Groove. One of the most underrated Disney animated films of all time.
Yeah.
Kronk is top. Put your hands in the air.
It's your birthday.
Kronk is a top 5 character. I'm not talking Disney animated. I'm talking all characters ever made. Kronk.
Yeah. And then Kronk's New Groove. That's a great movie, too.
Great. Low budget, but great. So anyway, keep going.
So John Goodman, no, Zach Braff voices Freck. Freck looks like a mole, like an actual mole.
He's a mole man.
Mole man. And Leia's like, oh, I don't want to walk anymore, so I'm going to hop on this transport. Kenobi's like, no, we just need direction. And he's like, no, hop on. So Leia's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. So Leia hops on. There's this little moment where Kenobi sees there's an Empire flag on this transport.
Yep.
So this guy's like Team Empire.
Yep. But Leia is great about playing along. She's like, we love the Empire. And he's like, yeah, it's nice to have some order, you know? And it's like Leia is like, what's great about her in this episode is she just like, she goes with it. She plays along and she understands like, oh, I need to be Obi Wan's daughter right now. I need to pretend like my mother passed away. I need to be really sad.
Even better so than Obi Wan.
Yeah.
Because a bunch of clone troopers walk up and Freck is like, yo, why don't you hop on?
Stormtroopers, David.
Oh, my bad.
It's fine. I'm not that angry.
I'm done.
Get in here, Sean.
I messed up. Okay, stormtroopers.
Everybody has those days.
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days.
As Selena Gomez said.
Well, in the episode before, we saw a clone trooper, so it's a little confusing. It's fine. Stormtroopers. They need a ride. Freck is like, hop on. And Obi-Wan's like, yo, shoot. And they hop on. They're like, we're looking for a Jedi. Have you seen one? And he's like, no, I don't even know where to look. But he is the guy. So it's funny.
He is Jedi.
It's a funny moment.
Everybody's laughing.
But yeah, they're asking him questions like, what are you doing out here? He's like, oh, just visiting family. And he's like, me and Luma are visiting family. And
yep.
He's like, it's a long story. And the guy's like, well, it's a long ride, so tell me. And Obi-Wan kind of stumbles, and he's like, he looks at Leia, and rather than calling her Luma, he calls her Leia. And the stormtrooper's like, wait a minute. You called her Leia.
He was so intense.
You said her name was Luma. Oh. Yeah, sorry, that was her mom's name. And he gets...
Her mother's name was Leia.
He pulls a sneaky on him.
It's been a difficult time for us. We're struggling.
So,
plays
anyway.
off beautifully. But he has this, that was the moment between him and Leia where he says, like, I look at her sometimes and she reminds me of her. And they kind of get through that, and the stormtroopers end up getting off the freighter. And that's when Leia looks at him and says, you knew my mother, didn't you? And it's like, oh, right in the feels.
And then she says, are you my real father?
Yeah.
And he looks at her and says, I wish that were true. Obi-Wan, you dog. Obi-Wan wanted Padme, straight up. And it came out. Are you my real father? I wish that were true.
Shoddy, I wish.
You brought him here to kill me. He's with you. No. Little did you know. Obi-Wan did wonder. No, so I thought that was kind of funny, but he's like, no, I'm not your real dad, but... So yeah, they get through this. Freck brings them up to a security
checkpoint. Yeah.
Where there's more stormtroopers. There's like a gate they need to pass through. Mm-hmm. And Obi-Wan's like, oh shoot. He's like, hang on, let us off here. And Freck is like, no, this is just
He's like, no, it's just standard procedure. It'll be okay. So
Obi-Wan's like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
So they get up to the gate and Freck hops out and he's like, what up, Stormy Troopers?
Stormy
He
boys.
doesn't say that, but he whispers to them, you might want to check out these guys that I brought.
Yeah,
Because
I've got some stowaways that I thought you might want to check out.
So they do a shoot.
This before this happens, we see Reva talking with Vader and then talking with the Inquisitors, which that's our first Vader moment. Flashback to that. We didn't even talk about that. And they send out all the probe droids because they know that Obi Wan is probably on one of these 5 planets. You know, we know what freighter he got on. We know that he may have gone, you know, they looked at the manifest of the freighter and they said he's on one of these 4 or 5 planets. So we're going to send out these probe droids, every probe droid we have, and we'll see where he's at.
Yeah. And Vader mentions how, or she tells him Kenobi killed the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, that's the
And-
story.
And he's like, I don't really care about the Grand Inquisitor.
Right,
All that matters now is Kenobi.
right. And we
And-
see Vader's castle, Vader's throne room.
On Mustafar.
Dude is sitting...
How did you feel about him? Like, the first look. Did you have any thoughts?
See, this is kind of the overall theme of this episode, why I gave it an 8.2. I want a more menacing Vader. He is the all-time most well-known villain ever.
Yeah.
So if you're going to bring the most well-known villain into the fold on this episode, there is so much weight that is carried with that you better freaking make it count. And like every scene, every dialogue piece, it needs to live up to the Vader hype.
So they brought back the voice,
They brought James Earl Jones back,
Yep.
which was perfect.
which I don't know if it's actually him. It might just be computer.
Is it AI? That's disappointing.
Which, no, I think it sounds amazing. I think it's great. I'm not upset with it.
I want him in the suit.
But I've been seeing a lot of I've been seeing a lot of crap on Vader where everyone's
People are
like
throwing poop at him?
he looks awful. Let's throw some poop at him.
I could see that. It looks a little different. It's just like
Does it look like a TV show?
It
versus
feels
movie?
like a notch lower than the movies. It doesn't feel like a TV show, but it feels like a notch lower than the
Yeah.
movies.
I keep hearing people are like, this feels more like a fan-made movie, or like some fan made this.
Sure.
It's not legit.
Sure,
That's what I keep hearing, and I can't really disagree.
could just be the lighting. It could, because if you think about like Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin gets that face mask put on him for the first time, the Vader mask, that is shot in a way where his suit has never looked better than that moment.
Right.
Because it's super crisp. It's a brand new suit. But that is like peak Vader aesthetic. I do feel like this is a notch lower. But I will say this. I was impressed with his castle. We've seen his castle in the comics. We have yet to see it live action. His castle is baller.
No, we saw it in Rogue One.
Oh, that's true. We did
Yeah.
see it very briefly in Rogue One. I want more Vader's castle. But the dude is sitting on an obsidian throne.
Fun fact, let me ask you, why is his castle on Mustafar?
Because it's his greatest failure, and it's where he can sit in his anger and his despair and his hatred of Obi Wan. Every day he sits there and thinks about how much he hates Obi Wan for what happened and how he will never let that happen again.
Right. That's where he taps into his power,
Yeah.
is through anger.
Right.
And what better way to do that than have where you failed right in
Right.
front of you?
It also makes sense that his throne is obsidian because he's on a lava planet, and anybody who's ever played Minecraft knows you get obsidian by mining some fucking watered larva. So anyway,
Right.
that's all I have.
And
to
if you
say.
do a 4x6 and light it up,
you're going
Shoddy, you're going to the netherworld.
Heaven, Shoddy. So anyway,
So
the probe droids get sent out.
Vader says to Reva, he mentioned something about like her beef. He knows her, what's the word? Her real motives
Intentions,
or something.
yeah, her motives.
He knows her intentions and he knows her history or something. He there's a small bit, I can't remember it.
Right.
But he says, but all that matters now is Kenobi. Fail me and you won't live to regret it.
Right. See, this is where I was really upset. Last episode I talked about, I was really upset that Reva knew that he was Anakin. I'm guessing they are going to explain that because that was a big deal. And, we talked about how Order 66 happened. There was that brief scene where clearly it was most likely a young Reva as a Padawan. So the question is, was she there? Excuse me.
Yep.
Okay,
Sing
reset.
your song.
Was she there? Did she see Anakin executing Order 66? Was she recruited by Anakin to be an Inquisitor? Did she show promise at the Jedi Temple where then she was recruited by Anakin? Because otherwise, how does she know that Darth Vader is Anakin?
Yeah, but my thing with that is, like, how do you have these people going around killing Jedi but taking certain Jedi to be your Inquisitors?
Yeah.
Where's the line where it's like, I'm going to kill these kids, but you? Yeah, you want to help me? Like, how do you differentiate
Right.
which ones you're going to kill versus which one?
It's a good
So I don't
question.
like
Unless she turns on her fellow, unless she joins in without him even asking.
I think he would say thanks
She
and then kill
starts
her.
Yeah, that would be a Vader move.
No, I think, honestly, maybe she runs to the library where they keep all that stuff, the holocron, and
Yeah.
maybe she runs there and hides, and she sees on like the security of Anakin bowing down to the Emperor. No, wait, that's before. I lied. That happens before he goes to the temple. But maybe she sees a
Right.
recording.
Right, but that's what Obi Wan and Yoda see later.
Right.
So
maybe
maybe-
she saw that.
Maybe. That would be a cool tidbit.
I think that would be the most, like, the easiest.
And then Grogu is scurrying in the background because
explanation.
they got to get him in there somewhere. What
Right.
happens to Grogu? What's the next piece? What's the puzzle? Tell me what happened to Grogu. For the love of God, I can't wait any longer.
It was the librarian that helped her.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'll get a theory on this.
Get a theory on it.
Ethereum?
Get Ethereum on it.
It's cheap right now. I'm down a lot.
Crypto bro. Anywho, so they send out the probes. We see this Reva Darth Vader dynamic. Fifth brother is not happy about Reva.
I liked that.
Leading the show on this Kenobi search. He wants to be the next in line.
Yeah,
And
he tells
she
her what to
says-
do, and she's like, "Well, I just talked to Vader, and he wants me to do this." So.
Darth Vader told me to do
But
this.
he
he's like,
he just forces her. He
He's
just takes over.
you talk to Vader? Like, they're all trying to be Vader's next in line.
Right.
It's kind of funny. We
Yeah,
all are.
I like
really.
that scene where he just like makes her bow down to him.
Yeah, get yoinked.
He's like, "Yo, know your place."
And he really didn't show much force sensitivity up to that point. I didn't even know if he was force sensitive.
He's the Inquisitor in Rebels.
Yeah, but within this show, he had not done anything that was like, dang, he's powerful.
Right.
He was kind of the guy that's like, hey, let's take it easy, man.
Right.
Like, he was the voice of reason.
There was more to their plan. It wasn't like they're
Right.
like not trying to hurt anyone.
Right. But the power struggle continues between the Inquisitors. Nobody likes each other. They're working together, but they hate each other. So we see this probe is on the planet. They're doing a security check, and they make Kenobi get off the freighter, and the probe droid comes up, and they say, lift up your head. And he won't. They say, lift up your head. So he lifts up his head. You see the probe droid scans Obi-Wan's face, and that's when it's like, Ish is about to
and
get
it does
real.
a full scan.
Oh, it scanned him.
It scans Obi-Wan's face.
And the Imperial droid knows that that's Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Kenobi pulls out a pistol and kablamos it.
Boom.
And then pew pew, a pew pew, a pew pew. He starts pewing people.
Yep. He doesn't miss. The dude's a god. He's a god with the pistol. No, really. He doesn't miss a shot.
That's how he took out Greavy.
And then he turns around and a stormtrooper's got Leia.
Oh, you son.
Now, I love this scene because I don't know why this is in my hand.
Hold it.
I love this scene because in every movie, when you see this hostage situation,
Right.
where like, I've got a gun to their head, it's like, just shoot him and hit your shot. Like, please, enough of this dramatic, like, whatever. So I love that he's like, okay. Like, just, and as he's going down, he just like, he shoots him.
Yeah.
Like, from the ground, he like takes a low angle and nicks him in the shoulder, and the guy,
Shoulder nicks.
yeah. I like that scene.
Took them all out. And then did he just punch Freck?
Yeah, he knocks Freck out. He just hits him in the back of the head, and Freck just like slowly falls over.
But before that, we see a stormtrooper from up top get shot, and he falls onto the energy beam gate, and he gets sliced in half.
Yeah, gets sliced in half.
That's Obi Wan's special, slicing people in half.
Yeah.
It's just a classic Kenobi move.
So at this point, the Empire knows Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That's Obi-Wan.
Yeah. He says, that thing scanned me.
Yeah.
Like, that thing knows.
So now they are full sending.
Yeah.
But as they're walking, another transport of stormtroopers pulls up.
Shiz.
And there's like 4, and Obi-Wan like, oh shoot, I can't do this. Obi-Wan surrenders. And he puts his head down as if they're about to execute him.
Right.
And obviously they're not going to execute him. It's episode 3, not episode 6. And he lives.
He lives.
And he lives to die in episode 4.
He lives to die.
And so anyway, this officer, Imperial officer, walks out with the stormtroopers.
Clearly high-ranking. She's wearing the high-ranking Imperial officer garb.
Yeah. She's got her pins.
Pinned up on a Wednesday.
And she just parallel General Hux, shoots the stormtroopers in the back.
As soon as you think it's donezo for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
She
so that
saves
parallel is General Hux has the stormtroopers, the First Order troopers, going to shoot Finn, Poe, and Chewie. And then Hux kills them from behind. It's the same thing. She's a spy. I'm the spy.
Hux mode.
Yeah. So she's a spy, and she takes them to a safe house, and she explains to them, you're not the first Jedi to come through here. And basically the safe house is in some droid building. Mm-hmm. And this droid is a loader droid. So he doesn't talk. He just works.
He kind of looks like a beefed up K2 SO.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a much stronger version.
Right. So yeah, Leia's trying to talk to him, and they have this weird scene. And here's the thing about Star Wars and what I'm learning, like just in movies, I take everything as intentional. Mm-hmm. Nothing goes under the radar.
Sprinkle method.
Everything that happens, I'm dissecting. Like, why did they say that? It could have been a stupid little conversation. So, I want to get back to that later. Just to recap the episode first. This droid doesn't talk. He's a loader droid. He's big. He can move heavy things. He brings them into the back of this place. It's a safe house. And this spy in the Empire explains to them that she has Jedi come through there all the time. She's trying to set up safe houses throughout the galaxy. And Obi-Wan's like looking at all these writings on the wall, and he's reading one, and he goes, oh, Quinlan. Now, Quinlan is a Jedi. Mm-hmm. He has his own story. I talked about Ventress a little bit in the last episode, but he actually in books, which I don't know if they consider canon anymore.
Those are the legends, yeah.
Might be legends now.
Yep.
He gets together with Ventress. They start dating. And he turns Ventress back to the good side, and I think she turns him to the dark side at some point.
I think so.
I don't know. I didn't read the book, so. But Quinlan is a background character in Phantom Menace. Mm-hmm. In the Clone Wars, he has some episodes with Obi-Wan.
Yep. And they don't really see eye to eye.
No. But I think it's funny because in this show, in episode, 2, Austin mentioned... what other Jedi could be alive during Obi-Wan? And I straight up said Quinlan Vos.
Sure did.
That was the one name I said.
Bingo bongo.
And boom. I hit the hammer on the head.
Are you paying attention to internet? We know things.
We know things.
We're predictors.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Most of the time.
I almost spoke that into existence. So Quinlan reminds me of Tarzan.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Tarzan.
But yeah, I thought that was cool. So we might see Quinlan in later episodes. Who knows?
Who knows?
But they're in this safe house. They're getting ready to make their journey back to Alderaan. And the spy, the Empire spy, Imperial officer spy, I don't know her name. I wish I did because I don't want to have to say that every time.
Shoddy.
We'll call her Shoddy.
Shoddy.
So Shoddy opens up this secret passage and says, okay, let's go through this tunnel. And as she's saying this is my favorite part of the whole episode. Obi-Wan stumbles to the back of the room, and like everyone's like, what is it? And he's just like something has like overcome him.
Right.
Like when, for me, it's usually like an hour and a half after I eat Chipotle. I get that moment where I'm like,
So like right now,
I've been eating beans.
we ate Chipotle about an hour and a half ago. He about to light
No,
it
he
up.
has this moment where he's like, and like I knew in that moment Vader's there. Like
Yeah.
they just connected in the Force. He knew.
He can sense
and I was
his
like,
presence.
oh
E-
shoot.
Even though he's disconnected from the Force, he can sense his presence.
Yeah.
That's a presence.
Which I think he's getting back into the Force. I think
Yeah,
that
but-
moment where he saved Leia was where he.
It was a rekindling of a fire, but there is no flame yet.
Right.
And that is an analogy that you can take to the bank.
The banking clan.
We'll sign your treaty.
If you don't know anything about the banking clan, that's Clone Wars content too.
But that line is from episode 3. Anywho.
So anyway, Vader shows up at this village.
Yeah.
And all the Inquisitors hop in line and they drop their head because Daddy is there.
Vader is here.
Vader walks around the corner.
This is it. This is the moment we've been waiting for.
You hear his breathing. Then you see his shadow. And then you see him walking. You see his lightsaber is facing down
Hot.
on his belt.
Hip.
On his hip. And Obi Wan is terrified. And
That
you
boy.
feel it. You feel his fear.
He is shooketh.
Ewan McGregor
Ew.
sells it. He does a really good job.
Yeah,
You
that was-
feel his fear. You do.
He's afraid.
So Vader's walking through this village, and Vader stops, and he force chokes this guy out the window
For no freaking reason.
Literally no reason at all. Just force chokes this guy out the window.
Just to set the tone.
And while this guy's being choked, his son runs out of the house.
He's a little kid.
And he's like, Dad. And Vader just snaps the kid's neck.
Dude.
He force pushes him into the wall and snaps his neck.
Vader.
So 2 people dead. Vader keeps walking. As he's walking, he drags this other chick by her throat in the sand from
old
behind.
wench.
This is peak Vader. This is the Vader I have always wanted to see. Other than Rogue One in
Right.
that hallway, the hallway scene of Rogue
Right.
One. Other than that,
This is the Vader from the comics.
this is epic Vader. This is the most powerful Vader. This is everything I wanted.
Just take no prisoners. I don't care what village I'm in. I'm going to mess people up.
Right. So he kills 3 people, and I love it.
He's drawing out Kenobi.
This sense of horror. Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's drawing out Kenobi, and basically he can sense Kenobi. Kenobi starts to run. He tells Leia and the Shoddy to run down the secret passage and just go. He's going to draw them away.
Yeah.
So Obi-Wan runs out. Vader can sense him. Obi-Wan's terrified, so he's running, and Vader catches up to him, and we start to get some 1v1 action.
This is it.
I love it because he runs away like 3 or 4 times.
Kenobi is scared.
And like the 3rd or 4th time he runs away, there's like a part where Vader's breathing.
Is that it?
But I don't know. There's a part where like Obi-Wan runs away, and it's at the perfect time when Vader's exhaling. So it sounds like he's like, it's like really funny actually if you wait
Again.
for it. It's like,
Yeah,
you're running
like
again.
Obi-Wan knows I am not ready for this. I'm not mentally, physically prepared for this. I'm not connected to the Force, and he gonna get me. I'm just gonna run.
Right.
He looks helpless.
So yeah, Vader catches up, and in one moment while Obi-Wan's fighting, he tries to take a swing at him. Obi-Wan ignites his lightsaber for the first time,
Blue boy. Well,
and
just before that, he ignites his lightsaber in like a mad, like,
that's true. Yeah, he ignites his lightsaber, and they start fighting. And Obi-Wan is fighting with all of his strength. I noticed he's not fighting the way he normally fights, like this.
Mm-hmm.
When Vader's using one hand to fight him,
Yep.
and Obi-Wan is holding his lightsaber like this, holding his lightsaber as hard as he can.
Yep.
against Vader's one-handed strike.
That's how Vader fights. It's kind of this arrogant, one arm swinging, I'm going to overpower you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
So yeah, this fight leads them. They fight for a little bit. I loved it. I thought it was great. Mm-hmm. And then the best part of the whole episode, which I already said the best part was Obi-Wan feeling his presence, but the actual best part is after playing with Obi-Wan for a little bit, he's like, all right, that's enough. He forces this barrel of flammable stuff onto the ground. Mm-hmm. He grabs Obi-Wan with the Force, and Obi-Wan can't defend himself. Mm-hmm. Obi-Wan is tossed like a rag doll. Obi-Wan drops his lightsaber. Vader got him. While Vader's holding him, he ignites this material on the ground with his lightsaber.
Yep.
Everything goes up in flames, and he just drags Obi-Wan through the fire.
Yep.
Just like what Obi-Wan did to him. The parallel there is amazing the way they do it. Obi-Wan is screaming the exact same way Anakin is screaming in Revenge of the Sith. It is such a beautiful... That is Star Wars poetry.
Yeah.
That is why I love Star Wars.
That
is a top 5 moment for me.
Full circle moment of like if I imagine, back before they announced the show was going to happen, it's like if I imagine Vader got Obi-Wan, that's exactly what he's going to do to him.
Right.
He's going to make him suffer the same way he did.
Right.
He's going to ignite that homie, and he's going to drag him through lava if he can. If not lava, he's going to drag him through fire.
Right.
And he said, I can't remember exactly what he said.
Fire and the flames we carry on.
Oh my gosh. If any of you know how to play Fire in the Flames on Expert, send me a DM with a video, and I'll give you a thumbs up.
So after having his way with Obi-Wan for a little while, there are some things that are happening. Reva somehow knows to check out this building where the safe house is because she's super powerful and can do anything she wants. And she sees the droid walk out of the building. I don't remember what his name was.
Beefed up K2SO.
I want to say it's like Neff.
We'll look it up.
I could be so wrong.
Sean,
but
look it up. He's not gonna.
I want to say it's like Neff, something like that. Lola was the little one, but yeah, she sees this beefcake droid walk out the building, and she has a moment where she feels like something's off, so she goes to check it out. All the while, Leia tells Shoddy, Empire officer chick, to go help Obi-Wan, and she can run to the pilot that's supposed to take them away. She can handle it herself. So Shoddy goes to help Obi-Wan.
See, that's what was confusing me, though, because at that point, Reva was right on their tail. I thought Leia was telling her, go slow down the Inquisitor. Like, I figured they could help. They could hear that the Inquisitor was coming behind them because they're in a tunnel. And what they did not do a good job of, and this was part of the reason I didn't rate it super high, they did not make it clear that this tunnel clearly has multiple paths.
Right.
Because as far as you're concerned, it's just a straight tunnel, one-way road. So I'm thinking, okay, she's going to go back to slow down the Inquisitor so Leia can get away. No. She goes to help Obi-Wan somehow. So clearly there's a separate path in this tunnel. And then somehow at the end of the episode, you find out Reva got in front of Leia, killed the person that she was supposed to meet, and then at the very end of the episode, takes Leia.
Right.
It's like,
but Reva
how the heck did Reva get in front of her?
Reva has a moment in the safe house, though, where she sees the Jedi Order symbol.
True.
And in her face, she looks sad.
Yeah.
I've heard theories.
Bring them.
That she could be a spy for the Jedi. And she's playing both sides right now.
See, I thought it was more just like kind of along the same lines of Anakin, where they're still good in her.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
And there's going to be a redemption arc with her.
Maybe.
Maybe she comes full circle and she gets redeemed, and then her and the Grand Inquisitor have a show-off, and he kills her. But just before that, she does something to maybe save Obi-Wan or something where she has this redemption. Because she clearly, like you said, she had a look in her eye during that scene where she was not, there was a connection there. There was something there in the past where she
Right.
was working through something mentally.
But back to, so that's what's going on in that side of the story. But back to Vader and Obi-Wan, the dialogue is amazing too.
Yeah.
Where Obi-Wan looks at Vader and says, like, what have you become?
Yeah.
And Vader just tells him, what you made me.
Right.
Like, Vader is going piss mode right now.
He's peeing
And you
everywhere.
know what? I say that, and I don't think he did. I think Vader is actually just toying with Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I don't think he's actually going hard.
And that's part of the reason.
He does tell him, this is just the beginning. Like,
Right.
you will suffer.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning of your suffering.
Right.
So Vader's not just going to kill him. Vader wants him to bleed, which just adds so much more. How do you not like Emily? How do you not like Obi-Wan? Like, straight up. The dude lost
Calling
his
her out,
girlfriend.
dude.
Dude lost his girlfriend because Maul wanted him to suffer.
Right.
Maul didn't want to kill him. Maul could have killed him, and he didn't.
He didn't.
Maul kills his girl in front of him. So
Savage.
Anakin takes the same approach, and he's like, I don't want to kill you, but I do want to make you suffer.
You're gonna suffer.
It's like, poor Obi-Wan, man.
Dude.
He's just been
Getting
through it
dragged through the fire.
in the flames.
See, that was I'm really hoping that this was not OP Vader. And that's why I didn't rate it super high, because like him snapping that dude's neck, like
That
what?
was amazing, dude.
That was crazy.
I loved that.
And that was a great, like, okay, sweet. You are setting the tone for Vader just doesn't give a flying H, but he is on a mission. He didn't go full blown on Obi-Wan, and I think you're right. I think he's toying with him, because at the very end, the shoddy.
Well, so I want to get into that. So
Okay, go ahead. I'll stop.
So I'm sorry. Well, no, I want to recap and then talk about it.
Five.
So-
Five.
Basically, after yoinking him through the fire, stormtroopers show up, and he tells the stormtroopers, he puts out the fire with the Force. And he tells the stormtroopers, okay, bring him to me.
Yeah.
So Vader has more plans for Obi-Wan. He wants to make him suffer in other ways. But while this is happening, Shoddy, the Empire officer spy chick,
They know who Shoddy is at this point.
she perches up on the high ground in the sand,
HG.
and while the stormtrooper goes to get Obi-Wan, she shoots the stormtrooper, and then she shoots that barrel of explosive stuff, and it blows everything up, and the fire reignites.
Right.
And while the fire reignites, Vader is just standing there on one side of the fire, watching as Obi-Wan, as you see the beefcake boy, beefy boy,
Loader droid.
who's been eating his protein, Loader Droid. Loader Droid walks up and picks up Obi-Wan and picks up his lightsaber and carries Obi-Wan away. And Vader just watches this happen.
I didn't like that scene.
So that's what I want to talk to you about. Why? Vader is ultra powerful Vader. He did whatever the heck he wanted with Obi-Wan right there. Why the heck did he just let him? Literally 5 seconds before this, Vader put out the fire with the Force.
Right.
Why doesn't he just do that again? Why doesn't he just walk through the fire? His suit is capable of walking through lava. That's literally what his suit can do.
And yeah, and I look.
Or jump over it. Or
yeah. We know,
force pull him to you.
We know
or,
from Battlefront 2 that Vader has a levitating jump.
Yes.
The video game. That annoyed me, because I think back to Clone Wars Season 7, where Anakin is on that, he's having that battle, and there's that commanding droid 1,000 yards away from him on the bridge, and he yoinks him with the Force and pulls him 1,000 meters towards him and kills him with his lightsaber. That's the same Anakin.
That's like one of the first episodes of Season 7.
It's one of the best moments.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that is what Anakin is capable of.
Right.
Why did Vader watch him?
So, when I don't like something, like in my head, I'm thinking, where are they going with this? How can this make me happy? How can this, like, I need a revelation. So in my head, I come up with theories. This is what I've got. In episode 1, it ends. Episode 2, it ends. Episode 3 picks up right where episode 2 ended. I think at the end of episode 3, it ends right there where the droid helps him get away. And Reva's got Leia. But I think episode 4 is going to start literally with Vader in front of the fire, and Vader could still go after him. That's one possibility. 2, now this is my intense. I've had a lot of time to dissect this and think about this. So remember back when I said everything's intentional about how they had this weird moment with the droid where they're like, oh, he doesn't talk.
Yeah.
But he's like super beefy and
Ned B is his name. I've been looking it up.
Not Neff. It's Ned.
Ned B.
Okay, so Ned. There's a moment with Ned where stormtroopers walk into the building and Ned grabs a hammer and keeps it behind his back.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever seen C-3PO think to like be secret with a weapon? And
Right.
there's a weird human-like aspect to this droid.
Ned B. And they made it very clear over and over again. He does not talk.
He doesn't talk. Now, let me ask you. What voice could Ned have that they would be trying to hide? That they were trying to keep secret? What's a voice that everybody in the galaxy might know? The clones, right? What if it's Rex? And what if in that moment when Vader saw that droid, he sensed Rex, and it was this moment of a ton of moving parts coming together where some chick from the high ground just saved Obi Wan. He's like triggered. The fire in front of him triggering him because he just saw what Obi Wan did to him. He's having a memory flash, you know. And then Rex in this costume, in this outfit, this droid to protect him. He doesn't talk because if he talked, everyone would recognize the clone voice.
Yeah, but then he could be any clone.
But that's why I'm saying Rex, because it made Vader stop and not pursue Obi-Wan.
Sure. That's a theory.
Or, and I'm going to say this just for Noah Terry, what if Mace Windu is in that droid and he's alive and he saves him? Or it's Quinlan. Quinlan Voss could be in that droid. Who knows?
Something is going on with that droid.
I think Rex is in that droid. That is my theory.
That would be crazy.
I think that'd be so cool.
And by that would be crazy, I mean, I don't think you're right. But that would be crazy.
No, I think that'd be so cool, dude.
So that is why I gave it an 8.2. That end sequence where it's like if Vader spent 10 years looking for Kenobi, he is this close from having him. And all that's separating him is some fire. I know that Vader is capable of Battlefront 2 levitating over that fire, or Clone Wars Season 7 yoinking Kenobi right through the fire. So why does he stop? Is it because
I think he's just playing with him?
He's either playing with him. Is there a sliver of Anakin that's saying stop?
No, there's no way. There is no way Anakin is gone.
Yeah, at this
there
point.
is no ounce of Vader that's like, well, that's my master.
My own master.
No, this dude's on Mustafar every day.
True.
Living in his rage.
On his obsidian throne. Like a ball.
Anakin's gone at this point. Vader is ultra powerful Vader.
He did snap a boy's neck. He's got a thing for younglings. Nope. Don't like that.
Them kids.
We're halfway through Obi Wan. We have not seen Qui-Gon. There has been no mention of Satine.
I don't think they're going to go into Satine.
Are we going to see Quinlan? I don't think we will.
I don't think so.
I think that
we're
Easter
halfway
egg
through.
I think that Easter egg was all we're going to get.
Yeah.
What episode do we see Qui-Gon? Your prediction.
So, in episode 4, here's the big thing.
How's it going to play out?
Here's what they're not going to break canon. So, here's the thing. In episode 4, Vader tells him, "Last time we met, I was but the learner. Now I am the master."
Episode 4 of the movies.
Yes.
New Hope.
A New Hope, the
Yeah.
movie. The
Yep.
original trilogy, the first movie ever came out.
When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Vader says that to Obi-Wan, which implies that Kenobi shows him up at some point to show him
Right.
that something Vader didn't know. Vader learned, I was but the learner, but now I'm the master. So I think Kenobi is going to have they're going to fight again. Kenobi's going to have some sort of redemption almost, where he beats. But that's how do you beat that Vader? That's the thing.
With the help of Reva. Reva has a redemption moment.
Yeah, maybe.
Or with a distraction of Reva versus Grand Inquisitor.
Or
Like
Qui-Gon shows up.
Qui-Gon. He's the wild card.
Qui-Gon might not do anything to Vader, but just him showing up and saying something.
If he shows up to Vader, that could change everything.
Like Qui-Gon,
that could bring out Anakin.
Yeah, when Anakin's killing the Tusken Raiders in Episode 2, he says, "Anakin, no!"
He hears Qui-Gon.
But he doesn't do anything about it. but I think
that's one of my favorite Star Wars moments. Side note, the music that they play during that sequence.
Yeah. He's riding that
Oh my
speeder
gosh,
into
he's
the
so
sunset.
angry and he kills everybody. Gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
Don't you just love when a character kills everybody? So anyway,
Especially the younglings.
they announced that there is for sure going to be Obi Wan season 2.
I saw not for sure a season 2, but for sure more Obi Wan.
What does that
Maybe a movie. Maybe he shows up in a different show.
Because of that announcement, I don't think we get any Satine action in this. 6
yeah,
episodes.
that might be a whole.
I think they dive more into that later. That is not something they're going to bring up now because we're already halfway through and there's been not even a mention of that.
Right. I think because in their fight, in Vader and Obi-Wan's fight in Episode 4, A New Hope, before Vader kills him, he says, "Strike me down and I'll become more powerful than you could ever imagine."
Right.
What he's talking about is like, if you kill me, I'm going to turn into a Force ghost.
Right.
So that being said, Obi-Wan needs to learn that from Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon knows how to do that. Qui-Gon is that. He's the very first to do that. Qui-Gon in the Clone Wars show shows Yoda the way on how to become a Force ghost. So, that being said, Obi-Wan becomes a Force ghost at the end of Episode 4.
Right.
He had to have learned that from Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon has to show him that.
Yeah.
That will happen in the show. I 100% guarantee.
Because with the way he's disconnected from the Force right now, there's no way that he's learned that yet. Or if he did learn it, he's lost it.
Right.
And he's going to need Qui-Gon.
So I think Vader and Obi-Wan definitely fight one more time, and I think Obi-Wan beats him somehow. And I think it is because of Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon shows up in that moment. In that dire need, Obi-Wan might be defeated, and Qui-Gon shows up. Just like in the sequels,
Right.
Episode 9, Rey is calling, be with me, be with me. And then at the end, when she's facing Palpatine, all the Jedi show up to help her. They didn't show up. They just spoke it out.
With A New Hope, that dialogue that he has with Obi-Wan, he says, "You should not have come back." Does Obi-Wan find himself on the Death Star at all in these next few episodes? Because Vader is on the Death Star with him. He says, "You should not have come back."
I don't think so, because the Death Star is not... I know it was being built at the end of Episode 3.
And it's 10 years
but
later.
The Senate is very much alive, because Bail Organa talks about in the Senate what they're going to talk about. And
True.
The Senate can't know the Death Star's happening. So there's no way the galaxy even knows the Death Star's happening.
That's fair.
That's under wraps.
Yeah, so he probably wouldn't.
He wouldn't know
up
anything
there.
about the Death Star.
Right.
And plus, in Episode 4, when they blow up Alderaan, I feel like he would have known something about that. Like, oh yeah, the Empire has that planet killer.
Right.
He was like, no, that's weird. It's like as if a million voices are
Yeah.
just disappeared.
Yeah, because he was surprised. And it wasn't until they
So
got there.
I think he just meant like showing up.
Yeah,
again.
it wasn't until they were being sucked into the tractor beam that he realized that's not a moon.
Right.
That's when he came to the revelation.
Right.
Okay. Any other predictions for the next few episodes?
I would like to see Reva doing this power grab where she is very powerful. They've set her up to be this power monstrosity.
Yeah.
Where she can do whatever the heck she wants.
Right.
Force push, read minds, whatever. I would like to see her keep growing and being even more powerful, even though I hate that. And then Palpatine giving the call to Vader, like, yo, that one?
Who's this Reva chick?
Yeah, who is that? I don't like it. End her.
You better kill her.
And then Vader just, not even a fight, just kill her.
Which we talked about previously, like that power grab dynamic of the Sith. And when one of them gets too powerful, that's underneath in the lower ranks, it's like, yeah, they're done.
Yeah.
Take them out. Yeah. The plot thickens for Leia. She's got Reva with her now. What's going to happen with Leia?
Well, that's the thing. We're halfway through, and the conflict just restarted.
Yeah. I did not anticipate this being a Leia-driven story.
No.
By any means. But it makes sense because in episode 2, we were wondering, like, how does this work with him watching Luke? Like, well, now we know. Like, Luke isn't even in this.
Right.
This is a Leia story.
Right.
Which, we didn't mention this, but it brings so much more power to, in New Hope, Leia reaches out to Ben Kenobi in her time of need. Now we know there is a backstory. She trusts Ben Kenobi. So, A New Hope, it makes more sense that let me find Ben Kenobi. He will help us.
You're my only hope.
It also is a huge connection to Kylo Ren's name is Ben.
Right.
She named her son after Ben Kenobi.
Right.
That was kind of like, oh, that's cool. Like when we see episode 7 and Han calls out to him and says, Ben! You go, oh my gosh, his name is Ben. It was kind of like a cool moment of like, oh, she named it after Ben Kenobi. But now you see the story
Ben
and you see that he saved her.
Right.
It's like, that's why Kylo Ren's name is Ben.
Right.
So I like that. It's again, this story, because it takes place in a time period where they're bridging stories, they have the opportunity, and they're taking advantage of it, to bring more depth to some of the storylines that are already created.
Their Disney content.
Yeah.
The stuff they came up with.
This is why Kylo is Ben, because Ben saved her.
Yeah, I like
this is
that.
why she reaches out to Ben.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I like that.
That's cool.
That's a good connection. All right. Close it out.
Yeah, that's episode 3 of Kenobi. Halfway through.
What, Sean? Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
What the H-E double is that about?
Dude,
Obi-Wan mentions how he remembers being taken away to the Jedi Order at a young age, and he remembers his mother's shawl.
Yeah.
I don't know what a shawl is.
His father's hands.
His father's hands. Then he remembers a baby. I think I had a brother. Obi-Wan has a brother.
What?
Obi-Wan has a freaking brother.
Is it me? Is it me?
That'd be wild, dude.
I wish.
That would make me Obi-Wan. Emily, I thought you liked me.
She hates you. Why did they mention that? Again, you said everything matters.
Yeah.
Every piece of dialogue counts. Especially right now where they're bridging stories. Who's Obi-Wan's brother?
Right.
Tell me everything about him. Oh my gosh. You are my brother, Anakin. But I have another brother.
That was actually really good.
Thanks.
Well, yeah, this has been episode 7.
7.
Really happy with this show.
Me too.
Like Obi-Wan show and this one,
99 nerds.
But what do we want them to comment?
On a scale of 1 to breaking kids' necks, how BA was Vader in this episode?
Yeah, was Vader underwhelming for you? Was he
Whelming?
Or
was he overwhelming?
overwhelming?
On a scale of whelming, what was he? Any other questions? What do you want to see happen in these next few episodes? What do you want to see?
Do you like the show as a whole?
Our show? Their show?
Their show. Our show and their show. Our show is their show.
Comment something. The
Their show is what
algorithm,
makes our
guys.
show.
The algorithm, guys. Comment something.
Yeah, comment what you think. Like, subscribe. Please, God, subscribe.
Do it, please.
And yeah, we will see you next time.
See you next
for episode 4 of Kenobi.
Peace.